Hello, my friends. I'm Natalie, and I live in LA with my husband. I have a 26-year-old daughter who recently got married, but it was quite dramatic. I'm just happy she's finally settled. Her husband, Victor, is a nice guy, and I'm sure he'll take good care of her. I had an ex-husband who works in a corporate office. I was already working at a local pharmacy when he got that job. He was always very relaxed and indifferent, like the typical man, while I was the typical woman. We fell in love quickly and got married. But our marriage became boring over time. He'd leave for work early, come back, talk a little, and then go to sleep. I don't understand why people like this want to get married. Our relationship had no middle ground. It was either extreme love with parties and gifts or cold silence. I expected a typical love marriage that would start fresh and fade as we got used to it, but I didn't expect such extremes. When Robert and I tried to have a baby, I had many complications and miscarriages. The doctor told us that Robert had an untreated condition his parents had ignored, making him sterile. I wasn't hurt, but Robert couldn't handle it. He felt humiliated and stormed out of the clinic. When I got home, he wasn't there. He came back late at night. "Where were you?" I asked. "With James and Colby." "Why?" "Because you were mad at what the doctor said." "Are you a child, Robert?" "Don't bring that up. I don't care what he says. We will keep trying, okay?" "Are you insane? I've gone through enough pain. I can't do this again, please." "Then what do you want from me, woman?" "I'm asking you to consider other possibilities. We can try IVF or adopt. There's a beautiful orphanage nearby. We could visit together." "Do you hear yourself? You want someone else's sperm inside you? The baby might not look like me, and I don't want someone else's child. We don't know how they'll turn out. Let's take a break and try again." "How pathetic. You took a vow for me. You are hilarious. When you said you loved me, you probably lied to my face. You're sleeping on the couch tonight." I ended the conversation and went to our room, slamming the door. I couldn't believe Robert's poor thinking. He never showed this side of himself before. If he had, I would have thought differently. I always believed marriage should bring happiness and fulfillment, but my experience with Robert shattered those expectations. We were married for 3 years, and despite everything, a dark cloud always hung over our relationship. The pain of infertility became an insurmountable barrier, shadowing our dreams of starting a family. Robert was against adopting or trying IVF, and this gradually destroyed my happiness. I yearned for the joy of motherhood, the sound of children's laughter in our home. "Are you going on another trip? Didn't you say the last one was it?" "I need to clear my head. Why don't you go to your mother's for a while? Maybe a woman-to-woman talk will help you think rationally. Plus, you need a break from all this." "And where are you going this time?" "The Maldives. A friend of a colleague has a nice hotel and invited him and his friends. So, I booked a ticket. I hit the jackpot. He said he'd pay for everything. I just need to cover the extras not included." "Did you ever consider that your wife might need a trip too?" Robert glanced at me slightly, his fork paused, his eyes sharply observing the table. "Where's the soap? And the pasta isn't salted. Can you give me some, Robert?" "I'll just shut up. The problem is with me, okay? I'm in more pain than you. Why do you keep whining in my ears like a spoiled 6-year-old? Oh, how mature of you, Robert. Do you even see what I'm going through? I try to take care of your needs and everything else. I've given my all. What are you giving me?" Robert glared at me, then took his plate and went to the couch to watch TV. I sat there silently, contemplating my future with a man who doesn't care about my feelings. My friend Lola has always been a constant support. She came to visit me when Robert was at work. "I'm so happy you took a day off today. We needed this," she said. "Yeah, I guess. So, how's everything with Robert?" I sighed, feeling like I always dragged her into my mess. "Natalie, you've seemed distant lately. Is everything okay between you and Robert?" "It's been hard, Lola. Ever since Robert found out he's sterile, he's become emotionally distant. It's like he's lost his sense of self and shut me out." Lola placed a comforting hand on my shoulder. "I can only imagine how difficult this must be for both of you. Infertility can take a toll on even the strongest relationships. Have you talked to him about how you feel?" "I've tried, but he shuts down whenever I bring it up. He's built this wall around himself, and I don't know how to break through it." Lola's eyes were full of empathy. "Natalie, it's important to remember that Robert is dealing with his grief and feelings of inadequacy. He might need time to process his emotions, but that doesn't mean you have to face this alone. I miss the connection we used to have. We were always there for each other, and now it feels like he's slipping away." You're right to feel that way, Natalie. Sometimes people need a reminder of the love and support they have. Have you considered couples therapy? It might help bridge the gap between you two. I never thought about that. Maybe therapy could provide the space we need to heal together. Thank you, Lola. I needed this perspective. When I talked to Robert about therapy, he got more agitated. So now I'm one of your gossip topics, huh? You're getting me wrong. I just needed to vent, and Lola is a nice girl. She would never make a big deal about it. Talking about my vulnerabilities to other people is not funny, Natalie. You know how I feel about that, yet you still did it. I'm sorry, but can you please not yell at me? I was really worried about you and just wanted to help. I love you. If you did, you wouldn't have done this. He didn't have dinner that night and went straight to sleep. A few days later, as he was getting ready for his trip, he told me his mom was unwell and needed to stay with us. We have 2 bedrooms. She can stay in the guest room, he said. I'm not upset about it, but it'll be hard for me to manage everything since I have a job too. Well, hire a nanny then. That would be an extra cost. Don't worry about the money, Natalie. I'll cover it. But that never happened. Robert was transferred to a new office in New York. He said he'd call and visit, but I felt our marriage was ending. I wanted to spend a proper evening together, so I took him out for dinner. We had fun, but also felt strained. A few days later, he left me and his mother moved in with me. She was old and had quite an attitude, making the nanny's job difficult. I was getting tired and needed a break. One night, I went clubbing and met Louis. I never thought I'd find myself in an extramarital affair. But life surprises you. It was a breezy evening when we first met. There was an instant connection between us. He had a magnetism that drew me in, and as the night progressed, our conversations became deeper. Louis made me feel seen, desired, and alive in a way that had long been absent from my marriage. Why are you still with him? You are stunning, Natalie, and deserve someone who adores you. Your husband sounds like a total dashaback. No offense. I don't know. Maybe it's because I love him, or think I still love him. I understand he's going through a lot, but he should know he's not alone. I'm here and have never forced him into anything. He doesn't like the idea of other youth or adoption, but I don't get it. What's so wrong with seeking a different alternative? I asked. Damn, his personality screams insecure, Louis replied. Well, some guys just don't like considering their partners as equals. When was the last time he made any effort for you? He goes on frequent trips, right? Did he ever invite you to any of them? That says a lot, Natalie. I'm not here to encourage you to leave him, but maybe it's time you stop fighting for something that isn't worth it. If I were in your place, I would ditch him right then and there. It's not as simple as you think, Louis. His mother is involved now, and I have to take care of her. Oh, I hate this. Why me? I lamented. Hey, you were in a club, right? Just have fun while you're here. Let's have a good time. I have the perfect idea. I have my car. Let's go for a midnight drive. Really? Are you sure? Yeah. Your nanny is taking care of your mom, so you don't have a curfew. Come with me, we'll get some greasy fast food, lie under the stars and talk. Sounds good. Sounds cute. I don't mind at all. As time went on, our encounters became more frequent. Our stolen moments were filled with giggles and whispered confessions. The affair became a dangerous dance, a delicate balance between the guilt that gnawed at my conscience and the intoxicating allure of forbidden love. Meeting in secret locations hidden from prying eyes only added to its charm. Each encounter left me craving more, but the guilt weighed heavily on me. I couldn't resist the magnetic pull toward Louis. The consequences began to sink in when Robert video called me. The guilt I carried seeped into every aspect of my life. I saw the pain in Robert's eyes, the growing distance between us, and the erosion of trust. I wanted to end the affair and remain friends with Louis, but when I went to his apartment, I was overwhelmed by his charm. He welcomed me with a warm smile, and as we talked and had a few drinks, I ended up kissing him. That was it. I had made a mess. After that night, I completely cut off Louis. He called me multiple times, but I couldn't face him. One day, when I was leaving for work, Louis was waiting outside my house. He stood in front of me, blocking my way. Please, Natalie, I'm sorry. I got carried away. I know I made a big mistake. I swear it wasn't my intention. I thought we were having a nice night. It wasn't your fault. I was the one who kissed you. I am the one with no self-control, I said. Hey, look, I didn't mind. I understand what you're going through. You know nothing about me. Don't even try. I had the most amazing night with you. I can forget it. Be with me. I can keep you happier. Maybe I don't earn as much as Robert, but I can make you content. That man doesn't deserve you. I'm still married, Louis. Please don't ask for something I can't give you. And please don't meddle with my matters. Let's forget this ever happened. I broke his heart that day. I pushed away the man who could have probably saved me, but I knew it wasn't the right time. 2 weeks later, I took a pregnancy test and found out I was pregnant. I was both happy and shattered. I knew this was Louis's child. If Robert ever found out, I shuddered at the thought. I decided to keep it a secret. When Robert found out, he was shocked beyond imagination. He kissed me, hugged me, and spun me around, calling it a miracle. He threw a huge gender reveal party. I didn't know how to feel. Louis tried to contact me many times, but I avoided him. You did what? Please tell me you're joking. When did this happen? Lola asked, shocked. It's a long story, Lola. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to do. Robert has no clue about this. Not even the nanny knows. Just you. I don't have the nerve to say anything to anyone. What about Louis? Should I tell him? I can if you want me to. Would that be a good idea? Depends on if you like him, but I would advise you to just go on with whatever is happening. Don't overthink it. There is always a right time for everything. For now, keep it a secret. Years went by, and our daughter Josie grew up unaware of everything. She always knew Robert as her father. Robert didn't change much as he got older. He was still the same. He only talked to Josie and sometimes made fun of me in front of her. Every time I asked him why he did that, he said it was harmless. He created an invisible wall between us. The weight of my secret grew heavier with each passing day, suffocating me under its immense burden. I watched Robert interacting with Josie, hoping my indiscretion would remain hidden forever, sparing us all from the unimaginable pain that would follow. As more years went by, the facade I had carefully constructed began to crumble, and I knew the time for secrets had come to an end. We were planning Josie's wedding. Time flies. One day, they were sitting in the living room when I entered and asked Josie to excuse us. Maybe because I was shaking a lot, Josie left immediately. What is it, hon? Something wrong? Well, if you have nothing to say, there are a few things I need to discuss. First of all, my salary has been cut. His voice faded in my head. Jesus, did you even hear what I said? My money has been cut down. We need to save up. How much do you have in your bank? Also, my mother's allowances. Can you please shut up? I have something to tell you. I interrupted. With a heavy heart and trembling hands, I confessed the truth to Robert, laying bare the web of lies that had ensnared us both. The anguish in his eyes mirrored the pain that now consumed me. The man who had never truly loved and supported me had been betrayed in the most unforgivable way. I forced myself to forget Louis, but deep down, I knew I loved him. He wrote me an email every year asking how I was doing. All I could say to him was to forget me. It felt unfair to Louis. You did what? You heard it. I don't want to repeat it. You're telling me that Josie isn't my daughter? No, she isn't. Then whose daughter is she? Which brat did you sleep with? Tell me. That is none of your business. Robert stood up violently, shaking the objects on the table. Josie heard the noise and came running, startled by the sudden shift in tension. What on earth? Why are you two fighting? Why don't you ask your filthy mother who your real father is? Come on, Natalie. Tell your beloved daughter who you slept with years ago. Josie, please, I will explain everything later. No, you will explain everything now, sentence by sentence. I want her to witness what a filthy mother you are. Dad, please stop saying things like that to her. I want things to be settled peacefully. I'm extremely confused and stressed right now. First, tell me, why did you do this? Why did you cheat on me? You were a terrible husband to me all those years. You were nothing but a self-righteous, arrogant, unsupportive, egotistical, and unsympathetic man. All you did was protect your pride, but look where that ended up. You know what? I don't regret a single thing I did. He was twice the man you could ever be. Robert was so enraged he wanted to lunge at me, but the nanny and Josie both defended me. Ultimately, he left the house in a burst of anger. The next day, he sent an email saying he wouldn't fund anything for Josie's wedding and wouldn't attend. I felt extremely bad for Josie, but I knew I had the willpower to make her wedding a success. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I contacted Louis and told him everything. I made simple arrangements and knew how to give Robert a lesson. A week later, I called Robert. Why the hell are you calling me? I've already told you I am not. Oh no, I just called to say that I dismissed the nanny. Your mother is probably alone right now, and I have left with my stuff, so the house is yours. Do whatever you want. I just don't give a damn. Wait, what do you mean you left? And what about mom's allowance? Not my headache anymore. She is a pathetic person anyway, gave the nanny an extremely hard time. Plus all the bills and stuff will be paid by you from now on. I am not doing it. You escaped your marriage and responsibilities all these years. Now, let it come and bite you back. Wait a second, Natalie. Honey, please, you know my expenses have gone down. I know, just like I said, it is none of my business. Goodbye, Robert. I cut the call. The tragic tale ends here. Louis and I met at a pub again, and it was so happy to see him. He was still the same, bubbly, cheery, and romantic. We both planned Josie's wedding. It was done at a fantastic location. Though the venue was small and compact, it was warm and filled with people we genuinely loved. We had a joyous celebration with food, music, dance, and a lot of jumping around. Robert kept calling me, but this time when I ignored his calls, I felt no guilt whatsoever. I was with my daughter and the man I loved most. The most beautiful part was that I could reunite Josie with her true father, who walked her down the aisle. I know I have a lot of explaining to do, but all that can wait for another time.